What's going on, guys? How you doing? We're on part 3. Rush, road manager, backstage secrets. Let's just get to this. Bam.
As the Rush merchandise flies out the door, backstage, Chef Frenchie prepares to warm up the band.
Looks lovely.
While out in the arena, things really heat up. Setting up this rock and roll roadshow also includes the sale of the extensive Rush Snakes and Arrows merchandising line. The man who handles all those black tees is Patrick McLaughlin.
This is essentially a rolling warehouse. Right now we have 32 different items, and that'll fluctuate anywhere from 30 to 35 during the space of the tour. We'll shift new stuff in for different markets. Last tour we did some kind of funny cowboy hats for down in the southwest, and blew through those. And then when you get up north, then you may introduce some colder weather things. So the hoodies are flying right now, and that's how the warehouse kind of ebbs and flows. And this is all baseball jerseys and hoodies. And that area will become bigger as you get into a cold weather place, but then you're in Phoenix and there's nothing. The aisle down the middle is obviously necessary so we can get to everything. It's not a matter of just loading skids onto a truck. We built these shelves all the way through here because the airspace in the truck is very valuable. So the restocking, that's a continual process. Every 3 or 4 days, the inventory's being turned over, and so we'll have shipments come in from overseas, Canada, and the U.S., different suppliers, and it all arrives, and then we throw it on the truck, and then you at the start of each leg of the tour. This warehouse, the truck here is impossible to move in. There's not a big, nice, wide aisle. You have to climb over boxes to get to anything. And then we're always saying, "Oh my God, we can't do anything in here." And then a few days later, it's all gone. So yeah, right now we've got a couple shows left, so we've got a lot of breathing room actually. So it's kind of nice right now. The Rush fans are fantastically loyal. They love the band and they love anything to do with them. And all the way through, Rush has had a very high quality merchandise line. And in terms of how Rush performs in the merchandising world, we're on the top end of the scale of the per head basis. They've got a great bunch of fans who are just rabid and they eat it up. And the vendors always wonder when we arrive at the building, "Wow, are you giving us too much merchandise?" And I say, "Hey man, this is Rush. Get ready. Put on your sweats. This is no dress rehearsal." Yeah, and then they believe me by the end of the night. If I were to not show up and the truck got lost, the show would still go on, but because the show gets set up, it has nothing to do with merchandise, really. But for the fan, it would be a big disappointment because a lot of fans that I talk to, they don't even necessarily wear concert tees or the different doodads, but they show up, and that's part of the experience for them, is to grab that concert t-shirt.
Back in the arena, it's now approaching 1 p.m. With roughly 6.5 hours until showtime, the backline setup is roughly 50% complete. Meanwhile, backstage, the band's personal nutritionist, Bruce French, has now set up his mobile kitchen in what is usually the local hockey team's dressing room. And he's just started to prepare the band's pre-show meal.
I did this charity thing on Monday at the golf course, and it's a farmer, and brought me all like baskets of all these organic vegetables that he grows on his farm.
Gore.
And they're just awesome. So I brought you a basket.
Let's love them up.
Yeah, check out that.
Oh man,
it's
that's
made
beautiful.
Of braid and yeah, it's all
Jeez,
fantastic.
That's beautiful.
He says it's not a speck of anything bad on any of this stuff.
Oh man, I can feel the love just oozing off of it.
Yeah, we roasted a bunch of them yesterday. It makes such a difference.
All the difference in the world. That's what makes my gig so great.
You can use them.
Love it. Is that the best? This is my my little rock and roll kitchen du jour. I take this stuff all over the world, and I take the freshest local organic product I can find. I use a local helper, and we put as much love into the preparation and the washing and turn it into a meal and watch that transformation into a great rock and roll show. Everything from pots and pans, fans. We carry our own cooker. Even the kitchen sink comes in a box, and as long as I've got a drain and a water source, we're rocking and rolling. Every now and again, Getty has friends in Toronto that raise meat. Yeah, I get garden produce with some frequency. Not as much, of course, as I'd like, but you know, we try to support the local economy as well. So homegrown supports a whole nother thing. You can see we have a couple of little critters in here, which just goes to show that it's been raised organically, and there's enough to share for all. That's lovely. You know, anybody can live on hotel food. It just doesn't have the soul, the life force into it. Somebody that's going through the motions of just doing a gig isn't going to put the same feeling and vibration into it that somebody does that. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a love factor. You can't buy a love factor.
It's 2 p.m. and the back line is now in place. Guitar technician Bobby Huck and bass tech Russ Ryan will now spend the next 90 minutes tuning up the band's instruments, while Lauren Wheaton will finish assembling the drum kit.
We're at 2:25. We started at 9 o'clock. So do the math. We're at 5.5 hours. You know, it's very good. Chair crews will be finished in the next probably hour, and you know, we've got pretty much everything on stage. Lauren is finishing up with the drum kit, which is quite the job. Anson is now finishing miking the drums. Everything else seems to be up, and we're looking good. We're ready to go. I mean, it's the crew's made it a very easy day for us today. Local crew here is really great, you know, very cordial, and they know what they're doing. And my guys are all pretty mellow, and you know, a lot of the local people give me comments on my crew as to, you know, what a joy it is to work and pleasure it is to work with professionals who don't yell and scream. And what I do is I think about the fact that we've all been out here for so many years that we found that yelling and screaming doesn't get anything accomplished, and the nicer you are, the better it works. You know, you get a lot of complaints from the younger groups that come out, young kids who think rock and roll is supposed to be, you know, drinking drugs and all of that. Well, that's not what we're about anymore. We did that. We're done with it. Now we just want to we want to live in a longer life and be able to have a life off the road at some point.
effects are an important element in the Snakes and Arrows performance.
Are they gonna rehash
Each
all
night,
the pyro?
8 propane-powered burners ignite the audience with a spectacular eruption. At each venue on this tour, the local fire prevention officer is called out just prior to the band's sound check to make sure pyrotechnician John Aerosmith's gear is up to code.
Stand by for driving test on stage. Fire in the hole.
Once the local fire inspector gives the okay, it's time for the stage manager to finish dressing up the stage.
We're looking pretty good right now. We're all cleaned up. We have a few things yet to put in place. We have the Getty's props to put in place. Pretty much done. We're looking good. We should be done probably in about 15-20 minutes. And that's about it.
Cool. All right. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, thank God. I really thought they were going to do the same thing they did the last one, where they just rehash an entire section. Just like, oh my God, what the heck? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, they're really showing you more or less everything that goes through an entire day, just in all these different kind of sections. And it's probably good that this is the last one, and they're kind of tying all these things back in. So that's good. I think that's cool, actually, how they did it. Even though it's all kind of just a taster, more or less. I think it's good that they ended with this. That they start with the individual things, and then this is like just the overall. They're talking about, the merch stuff. Freaking turnover 3-4 days. That's crazy. $80 t-shirts. Fuck all that. That is nuts. That is nuts. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of you people have bought them. I'm just like, oh my God, Jesus, sheesh. Yeah, that's just so much money for a t-shirt. I mean, I get it. I get it. Especially like the tour t-shirts with like the dates on it. That's cool, right? Those are always cool. Yeah, and then the catering, they touched on. Catering guy, the chef guy, is a freaking hippie. It's just all about the love, man. Just all about the love. Just like to finger the vegetables. Oh, Jesus. All right. Going off the rails here. We got one more part, and then we are closing out. It's over. It's over. This tech thing is over. Back to the music. Back to the actual music. Okay? This stuff is for the behind the scenes people. It is cool to see and, appreciate all these people and all this stuff. It does take all of this to put on this kind of show. That's for sure. At this level. That's just what it is. So, it is cool. Awesome. I'll catch you in the next part.